I'm running for state committee person because personally I think it's time that the Republican Party gets to go back to what it used to be. I do not want to have them endorse candidates for me, my governor, or anybody else. I think that people of the state should be endorsing their candidates and voting at the polls and putting them in office, not the party itself. I also am, for the first time I think in my life, really afraid of where the direction our country is headed politically. I don't want to live in socialist America. I think that's all I have to say. I'd like to ask for your help. We have a board in the back. If anyone could just give 2 or 3 hours on May 18th, it would be greatly appreciated. I mean, everybody needs to get over to the polls and vote, and then help all the candidates out so that we have people at all the polls helping us to hopefully take over this election. Thank you.
27 years ago, my mother brought forth on this continent a new baby girl, that's me, filled with unwavering determination and the desire to make this world a better place. Prior to February, I had no desire to run for any elected office, but now I fear what lies ahead for our children. Were you ever so angry that you just wanted to yell, "Oh, I can't take this anymore"? Well, that's exactly what I did after spending a day in Harrisburg watching our current state committee in action. I knew at that moment I had to just step up. When I announced to my family that I was running for office, my 8-year-old was very excited. He said to me, "Mom, you're running for president?" Well, I had to explain to all 3 of my sons that I had no desire to be president, but that there is a position at the state level that I'd really love to have. It has no pay and a lot less power, and they weren't as impressed anymore, but I wanted to be in a place where I could keep my eye on those people who did have the power, who misuse their power, so many times that it just seems to become normal, accepted practice for them. Together, in this election, let's vote them out.
You probably don't even know what a state committee person does, and you should know. But if you're like me, you haven't heard from your state committee people, nor have you heard from your precinct people. They seem to have a club that just circles around themselves, and they decide who runs and who doesn't run, who's supported and who isn't. And they do that without the agreement of the people. Now, I was raised to believe that government is by the people and for the people. Do you agree with that? Yeah. You know, I am really against what they call closed primaries, and I didn't even know they existed until February. We have a party that has already endorsed a governor. They have already endorsed a senator, and not only that, I got an email the other day where the party went and condemned one of the people running for governor for what he said in opposition to another person running for governor. I thought that debate was part of our country, but I'll tell you this, if you elect us, we will be for you, not for the party. Thank you.
I'm running for Republican State Committee because, number one, the Republicans have just done their constituents wrong. I was at a meeting the other evening in Ole for the East. There were maybe 20 people there. The Republicans in this group, are you aware of the local meetings? Have you ever attended? Have you ever been invited? As Joanne said, it's a closed club. And hopefully, with the election of the 6 on the Patriot slate, we're going to open that up. Because not only are we running for state committee, we're running for local committee. So hopefully we can deter some of the things that have been done in the past. It's time for a change. They made a huge mistake in endorsing Mr. Corbett. And it's time for the Republicans to take their party back. It's time, as a matter of fact, I'm sick of Democrats and Republicans. Our president is pitting group against group against group. Every day we wake up to something new, and it's time to end it. I don't consider myself a racist. My grandfather was from Russia. He fought for the United States. Time to take our party back, and then we go after the big one. Thank you.
What motivated me to get involved with the state committee was their endorsement of candidates, which I think is wrong. Not only is it wrong in principle, but it has turned out to be wrong in practice because they've endorsed a bunch of losers who have lost one election after another to the Democrats. I believe that people should be the ones to select the candidates in the primary and not the Republican Party. I agree with the idea of the Republican State Committee becoming a club that looks to me like they're a little bit too comfortable. If I get elected, I will not look at it as a lifetime job the way so many politicians do their offices that they hold. There's been some talk about the Tea Party movement becoming a third party of their own, and I think many of us, myself included, feel that would be a bad idea. What I do endorse is Republicans and Democrats working from the roots up to take back their party and get it back to the principles that it used to endorse. I've heard so many Democrats say, I didn't leave the party left me. And I think to a large extent that's true of the Republican Party too.
I'm the one that made the resolution in Berks County that there should be no endorsements. That made little difference because that whole state committee, just like a bunch of lemmings, went along with the Rob Gleason, the state chairman, and pushed through a endorsement of a person who had not been vetted. He had no track record of legislative experience. We don't know where he stood on the issues. It was name recognition. No different than Mike Fisher, no different than Lynn Swan. That's the way the Republican Party's been operating. The system is rigged, folks. It's got to change. There's no reason that state committee people cannot push their party to support things that are brought before the House or the Senate by their own party. Taxpayer Protection Act, you never hear it on the floor of the state committee. It ought to be. Property tax abolishment, it ought to be on the floor of the state committee. A resolution to change the defined benefits to defined contributions of state pensions, all that should be done by state committee people, and I hope to change that. I hope to be one of many Tea Party people around this state that are going to get elected, and we're going to change the way we operate. We have to get this party and this government back under the constituency and the people, and the only way we're going to do it is step up to the plate. I've been doing this many, many years, but I'm excited this year because we finally have a contingent of people throughout Pennsylvania that have the same expressed feeling as I, and that is get yourself involved and do something about it. I hope me and those other 5 are going to be part of that team that does something about it. Thank you.